Hi, today we're going to talk about Nearpod. Nearpod is a way to effectively engage your students while gaining real-time assessment. My students have been working through several multiplication strategies this past week, and I'm going to show you the Nearpod that I'm going to use to engage them in assessing their learning. So we'll go to My Library. This is the page that you'll come up to when you sign in. After going to My Library, I have one that I'm currently working on. Now you'll see that you have a couple of choices here. You have Live Lesson, Student Paste, Edit, and Preview. Live Lesson is what you'll click when you're ready to give this to your students. If you wanted to do it in a small group or as SeatWorks, you can have them do a Student Paste lesson. Unfortunately, as a Silver member, this is not something I have access to. So we're going to go to Edit. You see a couple slides that I'm already working on here. I have the title slide here, an open-ended question, and draw it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the preview of what I have. And there are several different activities that you can input into this slide. So here is what the students would see when they log in. This is to assess their background knowledge. Now, of course, my students have already reviewed several different strategies, so they should be able to name more than probably 3 of them. This would be where they can type and they can enter their answers here, and on my end I will see what their answers are. The second one that I have, the second activity that I have is called Draw It. Now you see down here at the bottom we have several different tools that they can use to be able to draw their answer. Their question is draw a picture using the groups of strategy for 5 times 7. They should be able to remember that it is 5 groups of 7, so they should draw 5 big groups with 7 dots in each one. Ideally, that would be what happens. Now, I get to see on my end when they submit what their answers are. I'm going to show you a couple of the different activities that you can introduce to your students. You go right here to Add Slide and Add Activity. Now, with a mini lesson, if I use this as a mini lesson instead of just gaining assessment knowledge, I would go to Add Content and I can input PowerPoints, I could show videos, and it shows up in real time on my student's computer, but also I can have it on my smartboard. But for today's sake, I'm going to show you some activities. My favorite activities are the open-ended question, the quiz, Draw It, and the poll. These give opportunities for students to see what other students are answering, and it allows them to collaborate with each other. For example, if I was to take a poll, I would say, what is your favorite strategy to use? And then I would input groups of, skip counting, arrays, number line, and repeated addition. Now, the reason I may ask my students this question is because it allows me to see their comfortability, how comfortable they are with specific strategies. So you see right here that I have 4 slides currently. Now I would most definitely add in more slides to assess where they actually are. I would use Draw It a lot because that gives them the opportunity to use their Chromebooks, their touchscreen, or they can use the mouse pad to draw the strategies that we are doing. So for example, this one was the groups of strategy. And I may include one a little later that says arrays, so they have to draw an array. It gives me the opportunity to see the strategies that we are teaching and gives them the opportunity to share what they know. Also, when students submit their answers, I have the opportunity to share those answers with the class to be able to see, for them to be able to see how another student did it. I always do it anonymously. They don't know whose answer it is. They just see the work. So that is one specific way. One thing I do want to show you before we close out is this Explore tab. This is a lot like Teachers Pay Teachers, where they have preloaded lessons that either can be free or you have the option for like these subject areas that you can find them. I have found one really good one that I do want to show you really quickly is this Native American housing. In social studies, my students are going over the regions of Native Americans in the United States, and this is very specifically focusing on the housing that the Native Americans use by region. So this gives an opportunity for my students to have a virtual reality field trip using Nearpod, and it is the active engagement. So if you have any other questions, drop a comment below and I will be more than happy to answer them.